And not surprisingly, Sigma shares ended the day at 58 cents, up over 11%. What happened to the rest of the local market today? Martin Lakos from Macquarie Private Wealth had all the details. Martin Lakos, local investors still looking very much to offshore. How much of a shudder went through the market, though, with the downgrading of those French banks?
Yeah, Tiki, look, that was very much part of the markets being captive to headlines today. In fact, I suppose really the reality is we've been captive to headlines for some months now. Before that announcement came out in regards to the downgrade of French banks, we were actually up 35 points in morning trade on the slightly steadier performance out of the US and out of Europe. But unfortunately, it really didn't last very long. A headline came out that Premier Wen Jiabao of China was commenting at the World Economic Forum in China that the Western world needs to improve the jobs, cut deficits and not be relying on China to supporting the debt bailout. So markets starting to get a bit more nervous on that. We also then later on through the afternoon, as you mentioned, the news out that Moody's has cut by one notch both the credit ratings, the long-term credit ratings for SocGen and for Credit Agricole. For SocGen in terms of its funding position and for Credit Agricole in terms of its total Greek debt exposure. So that's not helping, and it does look like futures on European markets tonight are all down at least 1%. So it's going to be, unfortunately, another rocky road.
So the jump in consumer confidence here in Australia and benign inflation numbers, no impact?
Well, look, consumer confidence numbers really quite surprisingly good, but unfortunately didn't have the impact on our market that we would have liked to have seen it. Those numbers came up 8%, well above expectations. Interestingly, all components of that consumer confidence survey were up. And the most interesting one, Tiki, was that in fact households, when relating to their current finance position, was up 11%. Now, we have seen in the past when households feel that their household finance position is improving and the outlook for the next 12 months was going to continue that way, then in fact we do see a follow-on with consumer spending.
Martin Lakos, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks, Tiki.
To the other major movers on the local share market now, and Guns remains in a trading halt, but has struck a $23 million deal with the Tasmanian government to abandon its native forest contracts. Atlas Iron is up 1.5%. CEO David Flanagan said today he's rebuffed approaches from potential bidders. Leighton Holdings was down nearly 4%. The company today formally appointed Bruce Monroe as its new managing director. And hearing implant maker Cochlear had a big fall Monday, up yesterday and off 14% today. Turning to currency markets, the Australian dollar is ticking back up now, but it fell more than a cent today as inflation was revised down and risk appetite waned. Onto the commodity markets now, and in New York, oil is coming off a 6-week high, now trading at $89. Gold is also reversing earlier gains, and copper and aluminium are both on the slide.